Economaki on the track, 0-5, Peter Brock, still the race leader, a lap and a half clear of teammate Johnny Harvey in car 25. It's a further 1 minute 25 seconds. Car 2 is in the pits, Masterton's car. They've got up to 8th place, you know, with Bruce Stewart at the wheel now, and about to hand back to Steve Masterton for the concluding stages of the race. Refuel, tyres and a driver change there. There's Gicy going through in 3rd place, 2 laps down on the race leader Peter Brock at the present time. And Gicy is 21 seconds clear of Alan Moffat, car 43, the Starvers at Mazda, in 4th place.
Well, he's trying very hard indeed, Allan Grice, keeping in mind that John Harvey took that gap and opened it up. There's 44, it's going nowhere, being pushed up the mountain, out of harm's way.
It was the second recar Commodore we caught that glimpse of before too, Mike, involved in that spin. It's back and running as well.
There's Gicy, now back on the wheel. Sitting right behind him, though, is Captain Peter Jansen.
The car running second in the 3-litre class, the Capri, car 50, Barry Seaton, is in the pits for a driver change. Fuel, tyres. Ran out of fuel, in fact, and had to be pushed up pit lane. Barreling down Conrod Straight. Allan Grice, he's got some distance to make up if he's to recapture the head of this race from the dealer team. Peter Brock in 0-5, Johnny Harvey in 25. The 3-litre class in this race currently being led by car 56, the Nissan Bluebird. Masahiro Hasimi, his co-driver, Hoshino. 2nd place, the car that's currently in the pits with a driver change, car 50, Barry Seaton. 3rd place, car 54, Kant and Gross in a Capri. Then the escort of Holden and Bridges. Scott and Walton in a Celica. Hire, Lander in an Audi. Gulson, Linton in the Alpha. Scaife and Bailey in a Capri. Land and Bailey are out of business. And Fanico and Goff in a Gemini.
Now, thanks again to Texas Instruments who join us for their first James Hardy 1000 Classic and providing a very unique scoring service here today. There's Allan Grice. Since taking over the car, we'll give you some time shortly on whether Grice is making any leeway on John Harvey, who is presently placed in 2nd.
Minute 25 is the gap at the present time between Harvey and Grice. We'll keep an eye on that to see if it falls. I noticed Terry Shield in the Eurocars Mazda RX-7, who was expected to be one of the top running Mazdas in the race, is in the pits again.
Gee, he's driven well this week, Allan Grice. Really has impressed me. He's found some new confidence since linking with the recar team. Infinitely better driving we've seen throughout the season, not only at Amaru Park, but also at Sandown, and here certainly in the James Hardy 1000 this year. Slower car waves to the outside. Grice takes the initiative straight down. That was the 35 Mazda RX-7.
Phil Alexander and Ron Gillard waving goodbye as Allan Grice whizzes by in pursuit of the 2 cars ahead of him in this great race.
Well, the Commodore, despite a problem that Grice mentioned early in the day, he was having a problem with the brakes, had to keep the brakes pumped all the time, and then eventually when he thought they were pumped up, he'd go for a jab, and sometimes he wouldn't have enough pedal there. To be able to overcome those problems, Alan Brown mightn't have been doing the same lap times as Allan Grice, but when he handed the car over, it was still running good, and they were still in a competitive position on the track. Section there of the enormous crowd, probably the biggest crowd that we've seen here for a James Hardy Classic. No crowd figures to hand as yet. But as I said earlier in today's telecast, Sandown Park was claiming 60,000 people for the recent Castrol 400. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess at what the crowd is here today, but it's certainly at least double that. I'm not saying there's 120,000 people here either. Heading up to GTX Bend, Allan Grice, the recar Commodore number 4.
Like they're preparing for another pit stop over in the Marlborough dealer team area. I don't know what, and it looks like it's going to be another driver change. I don't know. Obviously, they may have to put Larry Gary Perkins back in 05 just to ensure that Peter Brock doesn't overdrive the limit in this race. I thought they'd have calculated that fairly carefully. I didn't imagine that they'd change drivers twice. The view from the 7 chopper. Terry Lee and cameraman Doug Hampson.
Coming up behind the Citizen entry. Nowhere to pass there. You'll see the courteous driver move across for Allan Grice,
yes,
which he does.
Greg Topfer and co-driver Ken Matthews in that car. They've had a lot of trouble with it. They've spent an awful lot of time in and out of the pits today. Bad luck for them.
Grice gets another gear down, and Conrod straight. No traffic on there, so he's got it wide open all the way down. We have our pit unit